Today we're going to hit a full body calisthenics workout with no equipment. So that's great if you're training at home, at work, or while you're traveling in the hotel room. You just need an open space. We're going to hit specific strength exercises for bent arm, straight arm, and then leg strength, and more importantly, the mobility that really unlocks those calisthenics skills. I'm going to go through 3 different circuits that can slowly be progressed on each one to fit your current level. So these will work from beginner all the way to advanced. So let's kick it off with 3 warm-up exercises. So I'm going to externally rotate the hands. I'm going to go into the bottom of a push-up. Now this can be made much easier if I just put the knees on the floor, but ideally you're going to be in that one segment, so one piece from the shoulders to the feet, and I'm going to hold with my body so I'm just off the floor. So my chin hairs are just touching the floor, my chest is nearly touching, and I haven't got my hips up in the air. I've got my hips very close to the floor as well. And when I'm down here, I'm going to move back and forth. I'm going to go side to side and just explore and warm up this area. Now we want to hold down here for around 20 to 30 seconds. Like I say, if it's very challenging, just go down to your knees, but ideally be up on those toes, move around, forwards and backwards, make sure that's nice and comfortable. You can add some rotation in as well if you want to make it a little bit more spicy, but remember it's the warm-up. Then we're going to go straight into the opposite position, so the top of the push-up. Now with this one, I want you to really focus on the scapula. So what are the shoulder blades doing? We're going to come down to retraction and bring them together, but I'm mainly going to focus on this protraction, rounding the upper back. Same thing, moving side to side. We can do some circles, warm up the wrists while we're here. Again, 10, 15, 20 seconds in this position. It should be comfortable. If it's not, drop onto the knees, do the same thing. And then we're going to jump up on our feet, start to warm those hips up. So I'm going into a slight straddle position, so feet just outside the shoulders. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my hips backwards with a flat back. I'm going to go as deep as I can where I feel a light stretch, and then I'm just going to open up at the top. When I get to the top, I'm going to make sure I have an open hip. I'm not arching like this, making sure glutes are on a little bit, and then do the same thing, just see if you can get a little bit more range. And I'm just going to do 10 repetitions, open and close, and really focusing on that low back. If you find it's uncomfortable, you can change the distance between the feet. You can also put a little bit of a bend in the knees, especially if you're a bit tighter, but ideally a little bit wider straddle, knees look backwards, going nice and deep, make sure you're opening at the top. So 10 repetitions there. So just repeat that circuit 1 to 2 times until you feel like your body's primed and ready to go. Next, we're going to go into the push-ups. Now we could go standard push-ups, so that's up on our toes, shoulders above the hands with the hands externally rotated slightly. I'm going to push up to that protracted, rounded upper back position and then come all the way down, chest touch the floor. See how the body comes down as one segment, and I push back up as one segment. If it's too hard, drop down to the knees, exactly the same thing. Making sure that knee to shoulder now comes as one piece and back up again. If both of those variations are very, very easy, take the legs wider, one hand in the middle, externally rotate even more, come down, a little bit of rotation, do a one arm push up, back up again, swap over, exactly the same thing, but on the other side. And you could do 3 or 5 reps on each side. If you have that, you could do a superset as well. Not a superset, a drop set. So if that gets too hard, you could just drop back to the standard push-ups and just do a few more repetitions there to make sure you're doing enough volume. Little rest, shake the arms out, and then into the straight arm movement. So external rotation, we're going to top of that push-up, round the upper back into protraction. Now I'm just going to lean forwards into a planche lean. If it's easy, turn the toes over, drop the hips a bit more, and make sure that upper back is really pushed out. 10 to 15 second hold in this position, making sure you've got full protraction. If it's easy, go further forwards. If it's hard, drop back a little bit. If you want to play with it a little bit more, you can pulse. So I could go forwards and back again, just trying to get a little bit further, a little bit better position, but only for shorter times, but you just do multiple reps. Now let's get into the hips a little bit more with a Cossack Squat, so a wider straddle position this time. I'm going to bend one knee, sit into this squat, keep this leg nice and straight, keep that foot on the floor, go as low as I can, back up again, do the same on the other side. So really try and keep torso upright and keep the shoulder behind this knee, go as low as you can, back up again. So every rep, you're trying to get a little bit deeper. You can play around a little bit with the distance between them. But if you aim for 10 repetitions, nice and slow, nice and deep, so 5 reps on each side. Again, you can run through that 1 to 2 times, and then let's jump into the next circuit. So for the next circuit, we need to turn the hat round because we're going to hit the pike push-ups. Now with the pike push-ups, we can make this quite easy. So into this position, keeping lots of weight back in the feet, pushing backwards. Or I can start to make it more towards the handstand push-up where I'm loading more into the hands and the shoulders. I've got more of a vertical position. If that's easy, I can lift a leg up and come down there. I could pause for a second and come back again. See that little float? You could make it even harder by bringing the legs together and then coming back out again. But aim again for around 5 repetitions. And then we'll go into the tuck planche walks. Now externally rotate the hands with this one. Push up into protraction again. We want to go into a push-up position where our hips are in line with the shoulders. I'm going to hold that slight planche leaned position. So the shoulders are going forwards a little bit. Hold the protraction. Walk in to my tuck planche position. Couple of seconds. Walk back again. Now if that's easy, I can just take less weight into the feet. See if I can go to tuck planche for a second, walk back again. But again, we want to get around 3 to 5 good repetitions in that position. If it's too hard, keep a bit more weight in the feet, but try and keep that protracted position throughout the 5 reps. And then for the leg version, it's going to be determined by flexibility. If you've got more range in this one already, we can take hands all the way backwards to the floor. I'm going to sit down onto the floor and then I'm going to stand all the way back up again, open the hip at the top. If I can't do that, I'm just going to reach as far back as I can, put a little bit of weight into my hands and then come back again. If that's too hard, I can try and touch a target. So just put your phone or something on the floor and push it a little bit and then stand all the way back up. So whichever version you're doing, just make sure that you're standing all the way up at the top and making sure this hip is nice and open before you go down for your next repetition again. See if you can hit that magic 5 reps. Same again, 1 to 2 sets of that, and then we'll jump into the spicy ones. Now let's kick off with the hardest variation first. If you have a handstand, you could do a handstand push-up variation. So starting in the handstand, lowering down, ideally to the bottom, touch the head lightly on the floor, and then push back up and aiming for 5 repetitions there. Now, if you don't have freestanding handstand, if you don't have an eccentric handstand push-up, so an eccentric is just going all the way down, showing control, hold in, and then coming back out, you're not going to be able to do that version. Now, you could do a foot elevated pike push-up if you've got the strength but not the balance, or you could use a wall if there is one available, a door, just make sure that no one's going to come through the door, and you could do the reps there, either walking up the wall or just doing the down phase of the handstand push-up. But if that's definitely not going to happen yet, you could do a crow to headstand version. So I'm going to go into a crow position or a frog-like position, lift the toes up, see if I can bring the head to the floor, and then back up again. You could touch the toes down, or I could go all the way to headstand and back. Just see if you can catch the crow when you come back out. If you're totally new to those, just stick with easier variations, keeping the toes on the floor, but explore that bent arm position. And then for the straight arm, it's an actual tuck planche. So if you have the ability to do it, go into your tuck planche position, making sure you got that protraction, tight tuck, hold for around 10 to 15 seconds. If that's too hard, light toes on the floor, hold that position, push up as hard as you can. It'll make your voice go funny like mine, making sure the arms are dead straight, and then come back out. And then the final movement, going into an L-sit. Now doing this on the floor with no equipment demands quite a bit of flexibility. You need to be able to sit in this 90-degree position and then lift up like that. Now if you can do it, great, 10, 15 seconds in that position. If it's easy, just lift the feet even higher. Now if you can't get that, just put your hands down on the floor and lift the legs up. See if you can hold in that position. If that's too hard, go into fingertips, bend the knees. You can then straighten and play with that position, but try and get as close as you can to the straight legs. If you do have the luxury of having a couple of chairs or something, you can put your hands on the chairs for those. Again, 1 to 2 sets on that final circuit, and then you have a really decent workout that's going to last for around 20 to 30 minutes and can be progressed or regressed depending on what intensity you like or what level you're at. Now you'll find this workout in my app, link is down in the description. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and also let me know if you have any requests for videos, and I'll speak to you next time.